She was in my kitchen, on my phone, scheduling my admission to Willow Ridge Memory Care, discussing my declining cognitive function with someone who'd never met me. And the worst part wasn't that my own daughter was trying to commit me. It was that my son-in-law was sitting at my table, eating my casserole, nodding along like this was Tuesday. I'd walked in through the back door, still in my gardening gloves, dirt under my nails from planting the roses I'd ordered 3 months ago, timed perfectly for late spring. The same roses I'd researched, comparing soil pH requirements and bloom cycles. Not exactly the behavior of someone losing her mind. Yes, we'd like to expedite the evaluation, Claire said into the phone, her back to me. Her episodes are getting worse. Yesterday, she forgot where she put her keys. I hadn't forgotten my keys. I'd left them in my jacket pocket because I'd driven to the hardware store at 6 a.m. to beat the weekend crowd. I'd bought the exact screws I needed to fix the loose handle on the garden shed, measured twice, bought once. But apparently, asking Claire if she'd seen them made me incompetent. I stood there, gloves still on, listening. We're concerned about her safety, she continued. Living alone at her age, it's just not sustainable. I was 68. I ran 3 miles every morning. My blood pressure was better than hers. Ryan, my son-in-law, saw me first. His fork stopped halfway to his mouth. He didn't say anything, didn't warn her, just sat there like a deer in headlights, waiting to see if I'd charge. Mom. Claire spun around, phone clutched to her chest. I didn't hear you come in. Clearly, she recovered fast. She always did. Smoothed her blouse, reset her face into concerned daughter mode. We were just discussing options, for when you need a little extra help. I don't need help. Mom, you forgot where you put your medication last week. I moved them to the bathroom cabinet because the kitchen was too humid. I told you that. Ryan set down his fork. Elena, we're just worried about you. Don't. I pulled off my gloves, slowly, deliberately. Don't use my first name like we're friends. And don't sit at my table pretending you care about my welfare while you plan to lock me away. Claire's jaw tightened. That's not what we're doing. Then what were you doing? Booking me a spa weekend? Silence. The kind that confirms everything. I walked past them, washed my hands at the sink. The water ran cold, then warm, then hot. I watched it swirl down the drain, watched the dirt disappear. Wished I could wash away the last 5 minutes just as easily. How long? I asked, back still to them. What? How long have you been planning this? More silence. Then, quietly, a few months. A few months, while I'd been teaching her daughter, my granddaughter, how to make my mother's biscuit recipe. While I'd been hemming Claire's work pants because she never had time. While I'd been watering her plants when she traveled for business. I'd been useful then, just not useful enough to keep. I think you should leave. Mom, now. They left. Claire grabbed her purse with shaking hands. Ryan took one last look at the casserole, thought better of it. The door clicked shut behind them, not slammed. That would have been too honest. I stood in my kitchen, in my house, in the life I'd built, and felt the ground shift beneath me. That night, I didn't sleep. I went through my files, my records, everything. Bank statements, utility bills, tax returns. All paid on time. All organized in color-coded folders because I'd been a surgical nurse for 40 years and chaos wasn't something I tolerated. At 2 a.m., I found it. A document I'd never signed. Power of attorney, dated 6 months ago, filed with the county clerk. Claire Henderson named as my legal representative in matters of health and finance. My signature at the bottom. A decent forgery, but not perfect. The E in Elena was wrong. I always looped it twice. This one looped once. My hands didn't shake. They should have. But 40 years in an operating room teaches you to steady yourself when everything's falling apart. I took photos. Documented everything. Then I called the one person I knew would believe me. Tom? My voice cracked on his name. Elena? It's 2 a.m. Are you okay? Tom Patterson. We'd worked together for 30 years. He'd retired to fish and drink beer and avoid his own children's nonsense. He answered before the second ring. I need a lawyer. What happened? I told him. All of it. The overheard conversation, the forged document, the months of planning. He listened without interrupting, the way good surgical teams do when the case goes sideways. Jesus. Elena, can you recommend someone? I'll call David Chen. He handles elder law. Good guy. Doesn't mess around. Thank you. Elena? Don't let them make you doubt yourself. I've seen you manage a trauma bay during a mass casualty. Your mind's sharper than most people half your age. After we hung up, I made tea. Not because I wanted it, because the ritual mattered. Kettle on, water boiled, 3 minutes steep. Routine was proof of competence. Routine was armor. The next morning, I drove to David Chen's office. Small building, brick facade, window boxes with actual flowers someone actually watered. A good sign. David was younger than I expected. Early 40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. He read through my documents in silence, occasionally making notes. This is fraud, he said finally. Clear-cut financial elder abuse. Can they use it? They already have been. I pulled the records this morning, after Tom called. Your daughter's been named on your checking account. She's moved funds. The room tilted. How much? 30,000 so far. Into an account under her name. I'd saved that money. Scraped it together from overtime shifts and careful budgeting. It was supposed to be for emergencies. For freedom. For choices that were mine. What do I do? David leaned forward. We fight. We file an emergency injunction. Freeze the accounts. Revoke the power of attorney. But Elena, they're going to argue you're incompetent. They'll bring up every forgotten key, every missed phone call. We need proof you're sound. What kind of proof? Court-ordered cognitive assessment. Full neuropsych eval. If you pass, their case collapses. And if I don't? He looked at me directly. Do you think you won't? No. Then we have nothing to worry about. He was wrong. I had everything to worry about. Because even if I passed every test, even if I proved beyond doubt that my mind was intact, I'd still have to live with the knowledge that my own daughter thought so little of me that she'd rather lock me away than let me live free. The evaluation was scheduled for Tuesday, 3 days away. 3 days to prove I deserved to exist outside a cage. I spent those days doing everything I normally did. Ran my 3 miles, balanced my checkbook, finished the mystery novel I'd been reading, then started another. Made lists, grocery shopping, garden tasks, upcoming appointments, proof of planning, proof of presence. On Monday, Claire called. Mom, we need to talk. No, we don't. I know you're angry, but this is for your own good. That phrase, for your own good. The way people justify every cruelty when they don't want to admit they're being cruel. Who told you that you get to decide what's good for me? I'm your daughter. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From living in my own house? From managing my own money? From having a say in my own life? From yourself. She said it quietly, like that made it kind. You're forgetting things. You're confused. You need help. I need you to stop lying. Silence. I found the power of attorney. Claire. The one I never signed. I've already filed to revoke it. You what? I'm also freezing our joint accounts and pressing charges for fraud. David Chen is my lawyer. You'll be hearing from him. She didn't respond right away. When she did, her voice had changed. Harder. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was trusting you. I hung up. My hand was steady. My heart was not. That night, someone knocked on my door. I checked the peephole. A woman I didn't know. Late 30s, professional clothes, clipboard, Mrs. Henderson. I'm Linda Watts from Willow Ridge Memory Care. Your daughter asked me to stop by for a preliminary assessment. I didn't request an assessment. I understand you're hesitant. But I'm not hesitant. I'm saying no. I have a lawyer. If you'd like to continue this conversation, contact him. I handed her David's business card through the crack in the door. She took it, surprised. Mrs. Henderson, we're only trying to help. I don't need your help. What I need is for you to leave my property. She left. I locked the door, checked it twice, then I called David. They sent someone to assess me at my home. Don't engage. Don't let anyone in. They're trying to build a case that you're paranoid, uncooperative. We need you calm, rational, consistent. I am calm, I know, but they'll twist everything. Every locked door becomes paranoia. Every refusal becomes defiance. We play this smart. The evaluation happened in a bland office with fluorescent lights and generic landscape paintings. The neuropsychologist, Dr. Reeves, was kind, professional. She walked me through memory tests, logic puzzles, pattern recognition. Name as many words as you can that start with F in 1 minute. Repeat these numbers backward. Draw a clock showing 3:15. I'd spent 40 years working in high-stress environments where one mistake meant someone died. This was nothing. When we finished, Dr. Reeves made notes. I couldn't read her expression. How did I do? She looked up, almost smiled. You'll receive the full report in a week. But off the record, your daughter's concerns are unfounded. I didn't cry. Not there. Not in that office with its terrible lighting and sad paintings. But driving home, I had to pull over, sat in a grocery store parking lot and let it out. Not relief, rage. That I'd had to prove my own competence, that I'd had to perform my sanity for strangers because my own child thought I was disposable. The court hearing was set for the following Thursday. David filed everything: evidence of fraud, bank records, my clean cognitive assessment. Claire hired her own lawyer, expensive suit, slicked back hair, the kind of man who thought volume replaced logic. I wore navy blue, simple, professional. The clothes I used to wear to hospital board meetings when I had to explain why we needed better staffing ratios. The judge was a woman in her 50s, Judge Martinez. She read through the files with the kind of attention that made me think she'd seen cases like this before. Claire's lawyer went first, painted me as declining, confused, a danger to myself. He brought up the forgotten keys, the moved medication, the time I'd called Claire by my sister's name, never mind that they looked alike, and I'd corrected myself immediately. Your Honor, Mrs. Henderson is a woman who needs protection. Her daughter is simply trying to provide that care. Judge Martinez looked at him over her reading glasses. By forging legal documents? My client disputes that the signature was forged. The handwriting analysis says otherwise. David stood. Your Honor, I'd like to submit Mrs. Henderson's cognitive evaluation. She scored in the 98th percentile. Her executive function is above average for her age group. There's no medical basis for conservatorship. Claire's lawyer tried again. Assessment results can be influenced by temporary good days. The overall pattern, Judge Martinez interrupted, suggests a daughter who wanted access to her mother's assets and was willing to commit fraud to get it. The room went quiet. Miss Henderson. The judge looked at Claire directly. You forged your mother's signature on a legal document. You moved funds without permission. These aren't acts of love. These are crimes. Claire's face went pale. Ryan, sitting beside her, stared at his hands. I'm revoking the power of attorney immediately. I'm ordering the return of all funds. And I'm issuing a restraining order. You are not to contact your mother, visit her home, or access her accounts. Do you understand? Your Honor, please. Do you understand? Yes. Outside the courthouse, David shook my hand. You won, but it didn't feel like winning. It felt like standing in rubble, holding pieces of something that would never fit back together. That night, I walked through my house, touched the walls, the furniture, the photographs I'd kept in frames even though they hurt now. Claire as a baby, Claire on her wedding day, Claire holding her own daughter, my granddaughter, looking at that baby the way I'd once looked at her. I'd loved her. Still did. That was the worst part. That love didn't evaporate just because someone betrayed you. It stayed, like a broken bone that healed crooked. I started packing the next morning. Not everything, just enough. Clothes, books, my mother's jewelry, the photos I couldn't leave behind. I called a realtor. I want to sell. The whole house? Everything. The house sold in 2 weeks. A young couple, expecting twins. They walked through with wide eyes and careful hands, the way people do when they're imagining their future in someone else's past. The garden is beautiful, the wife said, touching the roses I'd planted. Did you do this yourself? Every inch. We'll take good care of it. I believed her. I found a small condo on the coast, 10th floor, wall of windows facing the ocean. No yard to maintain, no stairs to climb, no memories in the walls. The moving truck came on a Tuesday. Claire didn't. I didn't expect her to. The restraining order had another 6 months. But my granddaughter showed up. 16 years old, braces, her mother's eyes. Grandma? Sweetie, you shouldn't be here. Your mom. I don't care what mom says. I wanted to see you. She helped me pack the last boxes. We didn't talk about what happened. She asked about the condo instead. Is it nice? I don't know yet. I'll find out. Will you be lonely? I looked at her. Really looked. Saw someone asking a question that mattered. Maybe at first. But lonely and alone are different things. I've been alone before. I can handle it. Can I visit sometime? When you're 18. When you can choose. She hugged me hard, left before she cried. The condo was bright. Empty. Mine. I stood at the window that first night, watched the ocean move in the dark. Endless. Indifferent. Still there when I woke up. I started volunteering at a free clinic downtown. They needed someone with medical experience. I had 40 years of it. Worked 3 mornings a week, took vitals, held hands, listened to people who had no one else to listen. One of the nurses, young, tired, asked me why I was there. Retirement was boring. She laughed. Most people take up golf. I don't like golf. What do you like? I thought about it. Being useful. On my terms. 2 months in, I adopted a dog from the shelter. Old mutt, gray around the muzzle, missing part of an ear. Nobody wanted him. This one's been here 6 months, the volunteer said. He's sweet, just old. How old? 9, maybe 10. What's his name? We've been calling him Tucker. Tucker came home with me that day, slept at the foot of my bed, followed me to the kitchen, sat by the window while I drank my morning coffee, watching the ocean like he'd been waiting his whole life to see it. I started walking him on the beach, early mornings, before the tourists, just us, the sand, the rhythm of waves that had been moving long before I was born and would keep moving long after. One morning, a woman around my age stopped me. Beautiful dog. Thank you. I'm Ruth. I live in the building. Elena, you moved in a few months ago, right? 10th floor? That's me. She smiled. There's a group of us who walk in the mornings. Coffee after, if you're interested. I might be. The group met Tuesdays and Thursdays. 5 women, all over 60, all walking with intention, not urgency. We talked about nothing important. Weather, books, the price of groceries, the small things that make up a life when the big things have already happened. After a month, Ruth asked, "You don't talk about family much. There's not much to say." That bad? That finished. She nodded. I get it. My son hasn't called in 3 years, thinks I chose my new husband over him. Really, I just chose not to be alone. People think choosing yourself means you've given up on them. Maybe it does, Ruth said, but that's their problem, not ours. I thought about that a lot, about whose problem my life was. For 68 years, I'd treated it like something I owed other people, my time, my money, my space, as if existing required justification, required service, required making myself smaller so others could expand. I bought a kayak, bright yellow, used. The guy selling it asked if I knew how to paddle. I'll learn. At your age, maybe take a class first. At my age, I don't have time to waste on maybes. I took it out the next morning, wobbled, tipped slightly, corrected. The ocean held me anyway. Claire sent a letter 6 months after the restraining order expired. Not an apology, an explanation. She'd been stressed. Ryan had lost his job. They'd needed money. She thought I wouldn't miss it. Thought I'd be safer somewhere supervised. Thought. Never asked. I didn't respond. Burned the letter in my fireplace. Watched the paper curl and blacken. Watched her words turn to ash. My granddaughter called on her 18th birthday. Can I come visit? When? This weekend? She came Saturday morning, brought bagels. We ate on the balcony, watching pelicans dive for fish, watching the world wake up slow and bright. Mom asks about you sometimes. What does she ask? If you're okay. If you're safe. What do you tell her? That you're better than okay. We didn't talk about forgiveness, didn't talk about reconciliation, talked instead about her college plans, her new job, the boy she liked who didn't know she existed. Do you hate her? She asked finally. No, I'm just done carrying her weight. Is that the same thing? I don't know. Maybe. She stayed the weekend, left Sunday evening, hugged me at the door. I'm proud of you, Grandma. For what? For saving yourself. After she left, I sat with Tucker on the couch. He put his head on my lap, heavy and warm. Outside, the ocean kept moving. Inside, for the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt still. Not stuck, not frozen, still. Like water that's found its level. Like something that knows exactly where it belongs. I'm 69 now. I wake up when I want. Drink my coffee slow. Walk the beach with Tucker until my legs ache, in that good way that means I'm still here. Still moving. Still choosing. Claire and I don't speak. Maybe we will someday. Maybe we won't. I've stopped measuring my worth by who stays and who goes. Last week, someone asked me if I was lonely. I looked at them, at their assumption that a woman my age, living alone, must be suffering some quiet tragedy. No, I said. I'm not lonely. I'm free. They didn't understand. That's fine. They don't have to. I understand. And that, after 69 years of trying to make everyone else comfortable, is enough.